The massive viewing dome of Zalven Station hummed with nervous energy as hundreds of alien species gathered for the most controversial auction in galactic history. Crystalline beings from Sector 9 floated near the ceiling while armored Kragnoth warriors pushed through the crowd below. Everyone had come to see the impossible, a living human in captivity. Zara Velnerith pressed her slender, furred hands against the transparent barrier separating the audience from the auction floor. Her large amber eyes reflected both fear and curiosity as she watched the reinforced containment unit being wheeled onto the stage. The Lysarian noble had attended many exotic auctions before, collecting rare plants and peaceful creatures for her estate. But this was different. This was dangerous. The auctioneer, a grotesque slug-like merchant prince, slithered to the podium with visible excitement. Distinguished collectors, his translator device boomed across the chamber. Tonight we offer what was thought extinct. A creature from the forbidden death world Earth. A human male, apex predator class. Gasps and frightened clicks echoed through the crowd. Several species near the exits shifted nervously. Everyone knew the stories. Humans came from a world so violent that even its plants could kill. The creatures that evolved there were nightmare fuel for 1,000 civilizations. The Galactic Council had declared humanity too dangerous to exist after first contact went horribly wrong decades ago. This specimen was recovered from a destroyed colony vessel, the auctioneer continued. He is fully grown, approximately 30 cycles old in his species measurement. Observe. The containment unit's walls became transparent. Inside stood a figure that made Zara's breath catch. He was not as large as she expected, perhaps twice her height. His skin was a warm brown tone, his frame lean but obviously muscular. Dark hair fell across his face as he kept his eyes downcast. Heavy restraints bound his wrists and ankles, glowing with sedative fields. But what struck Zara most was not his predatory build or the way other bidders shrank back. It was the profound sadness radiating from him. His shoulders slumped not with aggression but with defeat. She had seen that look before in her mirror during her loneliest nights. We will start bidding at 50,000 credits, the auctioneer announced. A Kragnoth warlord immediately raised his bidding paddle. 100,000. I will use him to breed super soldiers. 200,000, hissed a Vextheri crime lord. His reflexes will make the perfect assassin. The human's hands clenched into fists but he did not look up. Zara watched his jaw tighten as aliens discussed him like a weapon or a tool. Her heart ached in a way she did not fully understand. 500,000, screeched a collector known for fighting pits. The bidding climbed higher. Zara's assistant, a nervous insectoid named Kix, tugged at her sleeve. Mistress, we should leave. This is too dangerous. Humans are killers. The council banned them for good reason. Zara barely heard him. She kept watching the human's face. When the bidding reached 1 million credits, he finally raised his head. His eyes swept across the crowd, and for just a moment, they met Zara's gaze through the barrier. They were brown, almost golden in the harsh lights. And they were filled not with rage but with a desperate, broken loneliness that called to something deep in her soul. Her hand moved before her mind could stop it. 2 million credits, Zara heard herself say, her voice somehow steady despite her racing hearts. The entire auction chamber fell silent. Every eye turned to the small Lysarian noble who had just bid her family's entire fortune on the galaxy's most feared predator. The human stared at her with an expression she could not read. The auctioneer's mouth parts trembled with greedy excitement. 2 million going once, twice. Sold to the lady from Lysara Prime. Kix fainted. The crowd erupted in shocked chatter. And Zara wondered what in the 7 nebula she had just done. The transport ship touched down on Lysara Prime 3 days later. Zara stood in the landing bay of her estate, watching as armed guards unloaded the containment unit. Her staff had fled to the far wings of the mansion. Even her loyal Kix watched from behind a pillar, antennae trembling with fear. Sign here, Lady Velnerith, the delivery captain said, shoving a data pad at her. And understand we take no responsibility for what happens next. Humans are unpredictable. Keep him sedated and restrained at all times. Zara signed without reading. Her eyes stayed fixed on the opaque walls of the containment unit. Somewhere inside was a living being who had lost everything, just as she had after her family died in the plague. She understood loss. Perhaps that would be enough. After the transport left, Zara approached the unit alone despite Kix's protests. She pressed the release button. The walls folded away with a hiss. The human stood in the center, still bound by glowing restraints, his head hanging low. He was taller than she remembered, his presence filling the space even in defeat. "Hello," Zara said softly in Galactic Common. My name is Zara. What is yours? The human did not respond for a long moment. Then his voice came rough from disuse. Why does it matter? I am property now. No, Zara said firmly. You are a guest in my home. Please tell me your name. His head lifted slightly. Those golden brown eyes studied her with confusion and suspicion. Marcus. Marcus Chin. Marcus, Zara repeated, liking how the human sounds felt in her mouth. I am going to remove your restraints now. Will you hurt me if I do? Marcus laughed bitterly. Everyone expects me to. Why should you be different? Because I saw your eyes at the auction, Zara said simply. They were not the eyes of a killer. They were the eyes of someone who has lost their home. Something shifted in Marcus's expression. Zara entered the containment unit, her hands shaking only slightly as she deactivated the restraints. They fell away with metallic clinks. Marcus rubbed his wrists, staring at her like she had grown a second head. You are either very brave or very stupid, he said. Perhaps both, Zara admitted. Come. I will show you where you will stay. She led him through the estate, ignoring the staff members who scrambled out of sight. Zara's home was built in traditional Lysarian style, all open spaces and natural light, with gardens visible through crystal walls. Marcus walked slowly, his eyes taking in everything with a mix of wonder and pain. Zara stopped at a suite in the east wing, its windows overlooking fields of blue flowers that swayed in the breeze. This is yours. Private bathroom, temperature controls, entertainment systems. If you need anything, ask. Marcus stood in the doorway, frozen. This is a cage? This is a room, Zara corrected. You may lock it from the inside if you wish. You may leave it whenever you want. The gardens are open to you. The kitchen will prepare any food you request if you teach them how. Why? Marcus's voice cracked. Why are you doing this? Zara turned to face him fully. Because when I looked at you, I did not see a monster. I saw someone alone in the universe just like me. And I thought, perhaps we could be less alone together. For the first time, something other than sadness crossed Marcus's face. His eyes grew wet and he turned away quickly, but not before Zara saw the tears. The galaxy says humans are dangerous predators, she continued gently. But I do not think predators cry. I think they feel just like the rest of us. Marcus was quiet for a long time. When he finally spoke, his voice was barely a whisper. Thank you. Zara left him to settle in, her hearts lighter than they had been in years. She did not know if this would work. But for the first time since losing her family, she felt like she was doing something that mattered. 3 months had passed since Marcus arrived at the estate. He and Zara had fallen into an unexpected rhythm. Every morning they shared breakfast on the garden terrace, where Marcus told stories about Earth. He described dogs that wagged their tails when happy, cats that purred in contentment, and something called pizza that Zara desperately wanted to taste. In return, she taught him about Lysarian poetry and philosophy. The staff had slowly warmed to Marcus. He helped the gardeners carry heavy equipment and fixed broken machinery with clever human hands. He never raised his voice or made threatening moves. Some even started to believe Zara's faith in him was justified. Then the razor beasts escaped. The news came during dinner. Kix burst into the dining hall, his exoskeleton rattling with panic. Mistress. A transport carrying Zarkath razor beasts crashed 15 kilometers from here. 6 beasts escaped into the countryside. They have already killed a dozen farmers. Zara's fork clattered to her plate. Razor beasts were massive predators, each weighing 3 times what Marcus did, with claws that could slice through metal. They were used in illegal fighting rings across the galaxy. And now they were loose on a planet that had never known predators. The local militia is helpless, Kix continued. They do not know how to fight such creatures. People are evacuating their homes. Marcus stood slowly from the table. How far did you say? 15 kilometers. You cannot be thinking what I think you are thinking, Zara said, her voice sharp with fear. Those creatures are bred to kill. So am I, apparently, Marcus said with a strange smile. That is what everyone keeps telling me, right? That humans are apex predators. He looked at Zara with serious eyes. Your people need help. I can track them. I can stop them. No, Zara said firmly. It is too dangerous. You could die. And if I do nothing, how many of your people will die? Marcus asked softly. Zara, you gave me freedom. You gave me respect. You gave me a home when the entire galaxy wanted me dead. Let me protect it. Let me be useful for something other than scaring people. Zara's hands trembled. Every instinct told her to refuse, to keep Marcus safe within the estate walls. But she saw the determination in his eyes. This was important to him. This was about more than hunting beasts. This was about proving his worth, about being more than a monster in a cage. "Promise me you will be careful," she whispered. Marcus nodded. Within the hour, he had gathered supplies and headed into the wilderness. Zara watched from the estate's highest tower, her enhanced vision tracking his form until he disappeared into the forest. 2 days passed with no word. Zara barely slept, her mind filled with terrible images of Marcus torn apart by the beasts. Then, on the third morning, a figure emerged from the treeline. Marcus walked slowly up the estate path, exhausted but alive. Behind him, local farmers and militia members followed, carrying nets containing 6 sedated razor beasts. The crowd around Marcus grew as word spread, Lysarians gathering to see the impossible. Marcus had tracked each beast using methods the locals had never imagined. He read broken plants and disturbed soil. He used the terrain itself as a weapon, leading the creatures into natural traps. He applied pressure points that shut down their nervous systems without killing them. Not a single beast died. Not a single additional farmer was harmed. Zara ran from the tower and met him at the garden gate. She stopped just short of embracing him, suddenly aware of the crowd watching. "You came back," she said, her voice thick with emotion. "I promised I would be careful," Marcus said with a tired smile. "Besides, this is home now. I protect my home." An elderly Lysarian farmer stepped forward cautiously. "Thank you, human Marcus," she said, bowing her head. "You saved my family." Others echoed her thanks. Children peeked from behind their parents, no longer seeing a monster but a protector. Zara felt tears on her fur. Her gamble had paid off in ways she never imagined. The Galactic Council ships arrived without warning, their massive forms blocking out the sun over Zara's estate. Armed peacekeepers in heavy armor descended from drop ships, surrounding the property with military precision. Zara barely had time to reach Marcus in the garden before a squad leader approached, plasma rifle raised. "Lady Zara Velnarith, you are under arrest for harboring an illegal Death Worlder," the Kragnoth commander announced. "The human-designated Marcus Chen will be terminated immediately per Council Regulation 742. "No." Zara positioned herself between Marcus and the weapons. Her legs shook but she held her ground. "He has done nothing wrong. He saved lives here." "He exists," the commander said coldly. "That is crime enough. Step aside or face execution alongside him." Marcus gently moved Zara behind him. "Do not die for me," he said quietly. "You have already given me more than I deserved." "I will not let them kill you," Zara said fiercely. "Not without a fight." The standoff might have ended in blood, but Kix came rushing from the estate with a datapad held high. "Wait. Lady Velnarith has the right to tribunal. She is noble class. Council Law Section 3 requires formal judgment before execution." The commander's mandibles clicked with annoyance, but he lowered his weapon. "Fine. Both of you will come to the council station. But the human remains in maximum restraints." The tribunal chamber was a massive circular room where representatives from 50 species sat in judgment. Zara and Marcus stood in the center, surrounded by energy barriers. The lead counselor, an ancient being of pure light named Illuminus, spoke with a voice that echoed like distant thunder. "Lady Velnarith, you have violated the most sacred law of the Galactic Council. Humans are classified as extinction-level threats. They cannot be reasoned with, cannot be trusted, and must be eliminated on sight. What defense do you offer?" Zara stepped forward, her voice stronger than she felt. "I offer truth, counselor. Everything we believe about humans is based on fear, not facts. Yes, they come from a harsh world. Yes, they are capable of violence. But so are the Kragnoth, the Vextheri, and a dozen other species sitting in this chamber. We do not execute them for existing." Murmurs rippled through the council. The Kragnoth representative slammed a massive fist on his podium. "Humans destroyed our first contact team. 20 warriors dead in minutes. Because your warriors attacked their civilian colony without provocation," Zara countered, having researched the incident thoroughly. "The humans defended themselves. That is not murder. That is survival." Marcus spoke for the first time, his voice carrying across the chamber. "My people are not monsters. Yes, Earth is dangerous. We evolved alongside predators. We learned to hunt, to fight, to survive. But we also learned something else." He paused, meeting the eyes of various counselors. "We learned to love." "Love?" Illuminus sounded skeptical. "We took wolves, deadly pack hunters, and over thousands of years we made them into dogs. companions, family. We did the same with wildcats. We protected species that could not protect themselves. We built cities not just for conquest but for community. Our greatest strength is not violence. It is loyalty to those we care about. Zara pulled up holographic displays on her datapad. This is footage from 3 weeks ago. Watch what Marcus did when razor beasts threatened my people. The council watched in silence as the recordings showed Marcus tracking, planning, and carefully subduing each beast without killing them. They saw him carry an injured farmer to safety. They saw him teaching local militia how to defend themselves. He could have killed easily, Zara said. Instead he protected. He taught. He showed mercy. This is what humans do when given the chance. They become guardians. The council chamber erupted in arguments. Some demanded immediate execution. Others looked thoughtful. Finally, Illuminas raised a glowing appendage for silence. This council is divided. We propose a compromise. The human may live under strict monitoring. Lady Velnareth will be responsible for his actions. Any sign of aggression and both will face termination. Does this satisfy the council? Votes appeared on display screens. It passed by the narrowest margin. Zara collapsed in relief. Marcus caught her, steadying her with gentle hands. They had won for now. 8 months had passed since the tribunal. Zara's estate had transformed into something unprecedented in galactic history. What started as one human and one Lysarian had grown into a sanctuary that bridged species across the stars. Marcus stood on the main terrace, watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of purple and gold. Below in the gardens, 3 other humans played with a group of Lysarian children. The humans had been rescued from various illegal operations across the galaxy, broken and traumatized. Now they laughed as they taught the children an Earth game called tag. Still hard to believe sometimes, said a voice beside him. Sarah, a human woman rescued from a fighting pit 4 months ago, joined him at the railing. A year ago I thought I would die in a cage. Now I am teaching alien kids how to make friendship bracelets. Marcus smiled. Zara has a gift for seeing potential in broken things. As if summoned by her name, Zara emerged from the estate with Kix following behind, his arms full of data pads. She had been handling the mountain of bureaucracy that came with running an official human integration program. The council watched their every move, but so far the results spoke for themselves. Marcus, we have visitors arriving tomorrow, Zara announced, her tail swishing with excitement. A delegation from the Chulari species. They want to meet humans. Their planet has been having problems with invasive predators, and they heard what you did with the razor beasts. More work then, Marcus said, but his tone was warm. This was exactly what he wanted. Every species that visited, every successful interaction, proved that humans belonged in the galaxy. That evening Zara and Marcus sat together in the garden as they did most nights. It had become their ritual, this quiet time where the day's chaos faded and they could simply exist in each other's company. Do you ever miss Earth? Zara asked softly. Your real home. Marcus was quiet for a long moment, watching the unfamiliar constellations overhead. Earth is gone. My colony, my family, everything I knew. But I learned something important from an old Lysarian who took a crazy chance on a scary human. What is that? Home is not a place. It is the people you protect. The ones who see you really see you, not what they expect you to be. Marcus looked at Zara with fondness that made her heart skip. You did not domesticate me like some pet. You gave me something worth protecting again. That is what humans do best. We find our pack and we guard them with everything we have. Zara's eyes grew misty. I was so lonely before you came. This big estate, all this wealth, and no one to share it with. My people are peaceful and kind, but they do not understand loss the way you do. You filled an emptiness I did not know how to name. Then we saved each other, Marcus said simply. A small Lysarian child, no older than 5 cycles, came running up to them. Marcus, will you teach us more Earth songs tomorrow? The one about twinkling stars. Marcus laughed and ruffled the child's fur gently. Of course, little one. Now go, your parents are looking for you. The child scampered off without fear, without hesitation. A year ago, such a scene would have been impossible. Now it was normal. Kix approached with evening refreshments, no longer trembling in Marcus's presence. The galaxy is changing because of what you two started here, he said, setting down a tray. I never thought I would say this, but I am glad Mistress bid on you that day, Marcus. So am I, Kix, Marcus replied with genuine warmth. So am I. As the stars emerged fully in the darkening sky, Zara leaned against Marcus's shoulder, a gesture of trust and affection that would have shocked her younger self. Marcus wrapped an arm around her carefully, protective but gentle. Below them, humans and aliens worked side by side in the gardens. Laughter echoed across the grounds. The galaxy's most feared predators had found their purpose not in conquest, but in community. And in a universe of 1 billion stars, one small estate proved that even apex predators need a home.